Hello, we're the Anthony Wayne Vibe. We're here at ProMotion Studios in downtown Knoxville, Tennessee.
Short time wiser, roll on through the hard times. A push comes to shove just to keep things tied up. There's a sense of security in losing our minds. Just the clouds laying on top of each other. They're 2 or 3 deep. That's why they're dark that way. I never cared about the light of day. Now when the sky makes tears, it's just the rain on her face. Saying roll on through the hard times, but just a man myself. Roll on through the hard times, just me and myself. Just me and myself. Used to own a porch swing, and from there I judged my neighbors quite evenly. We used to communicate quite infrequently, back when a handshake stood for something. We're passing headlights in a tunnel. We're going nowhere. Now we just shake hands just to make ourselves feel a little less guilty about it anyway. Roll on through the hard times, just a me and myself. picking up anything you're dropping off now. Our transmissions are jumbled on the page. Be a bit more direct when you're cursing at me, 'cause this guy can be such a fickle thing, and all they're doing is prolong through the hard times. Just a mere myself. Prolong through the hard times. Just me and myself. And if there's a heaven or a hell, then forgive me plenty. Heaven or hell, then forgive me plenty. Heaven or hell, then forgive me plenty. 'Cause the sky with no rain will take all of us. Will take all of us away. 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 Take all of us away. Take all of us away.
Hey everybody, we're the Anthony Wayne Vibe. We are here at ProMotion Studios in downtown Knoxville, Tennessee. This is called Problems I Borrow.
somebody's help, just waiting for me to come back, come back. But my spirit left the room, said you won't be back soon until I get all those spots off of my back. I couldn't write a better script for me to follow, yeah. And I follow. Is it all my fault? And are they just and I follow. Is it all my fault? And are they just gonna be problems I follow? And I follow. Anyway, I can seem to see the light. Yes, anyway, I can seem to see the light. And it's gonna be our time forevermore. Forevermore. Forevermore.
Welcome to the ProMotion studio. Today we're joined by Anthony Wayne out of Bristol, Tennessee. What's going on, man?
Hey man, how are you?
Glad to
Good
have
to be
you
here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, we're really glad to get you down here. You're very active in the singer-songwriter community around the East Tennessee, North Carolina area.
Yeah.
What brought you to the area and what got you songwriting?
Well, I've been here quite a while. I'm from Ohio originally, and then you kind of just living, you kind of move your way. I lived in Nashville for I don't know, 19 years or so, and then moved to Virginia and kind of started recording more. Put out one record, and then I've been working on a second one. I guess songwriting's kind of always been there. I started out as a drummer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I kind of felt like I didn't know a whole lot about at the time that drummers can sing.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to be a singer too, so I was like, how do you do those two? And I was like, I don't know any drummers that sing.
Follow Phil Collins.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As I get older, I go, every drummer sings. But so then I was just like, well, I want to teach myself guitar. So I left home and moved to Nashville and just started hitting it. Played through a couple of bands. Bands kind of come and go. It's tough.
Absolutely, particularly in Nashville.
Yeah, sure. Just anywhere really. It's hard to keep everybody on the right path, and hard to keep everybody. It's tough. It's a tough thing. So, but I've been pretty fortunate. Got a great group of guys now. We're super excited for the future. So, songwriting just kind of came. It took a lot of work, but it still came a little bit natural.
What's weird is
I wanted to tell stories. So
I feel like you find some of the most committed musicians outside of the industry. Like they're doing it for the right reasons. There's a lot of people that kind of flock to Nashville thinking that with an ounce of talent they'll get famous.
Yeah, it's a tough market for sure.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
I think big cities are tough markets in general.
Yeah. Yeah, you end up with a big saturation of not just bands but talented songwriters and everything. But I feel like outside of the industry sometimes you get the people who are really talented and thirsty. You got that combination of motivation and hunger, yeah. And
because of that saturation, you have a lot of people everybody's trying to get to the same place.
Yeah, and you got a lot of people helping each other up, giving advice.
Tons of that. Yeah, there's tons of that. A lot of good friends. I made so many good friends doing this.
Who are some of the people around here who kind of took you under their wing, being like, here's some of the good places to play, here's the places to avoid?
Well, I think I can't think of any. All I can think of right now is you guys.
Okay.
ProMotion. When I got teamed up with you all, it synced really well. I feel really good and really home here. But I think over the years, I've worked with a bunch of people and really idolized some of my heroes and thought, I'm just going to follow this and see what they're doing. Just kind of keep my eye on what they're doing.
Right.
You don't know that. It's probably trending. It's called a trend now. Whatever.
Well, it's like learn by observe.
Yeah,
totally. Learn by observing.
And then I ended up becoming that guy. You kind of become your hero as you get older. You kind of help other musicians, and you're just like, I remember what it was like. I'm gonna do what they did.
Right.
It's very symbiotic. You really
Absolutely.
want to give what you get.
You get a question, you'll be like, wow, I remember asking that same question 15 years ago.
Exactly. And I remember how afraid I was to ask it. So it's like you just want to be as helpful as you can. So I think every band, every musician that I've ever played with has had some part in the growth. obviously to get me here. So I listen as much as I can. I think a big part of my success, my personal success, was becoming sober, and I think
that can make a big difference.
Yeah, that's not something I get to talk about a lot, but sober 17 years, and so that was a big thing that kind of just, once I made that focus, I just went and just absorbed everything I could, listen, watch, pay attention.
And I was speaking to somebody actually earlier today about this. He was talking about songwriters and stuff he works with, and he was like, if they're talking about getting drunk or high to get that motivation, it's like, sorry buddy, I'm already checked out. You've already lost my attention.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're wasting your time, why not reward yourself afterwards? If that's your process, wait until you've got the work done.
Sure. Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah, it's hard to get that level of success or that work being cloudy. And
if you've got those kinds of demons in you, and I've struggled with them myself, it's hard to get anything genuine. You're hung up on, I hate to say it, but it's like almost surface level emotions. You're not really digging to the root of the problem, and you're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
You're going to end up writing the same song 10 times about how you screwed up, not how you fell into a situation and the situation made you worse, and I don't know.
Yeah.
People refuse to reflect on some of their problems.
It's a tough area for sure.
Absolutely. So speaking about the influence and everybody that you've worked with, the sound that you have is really unique.
Thank you.
How did you is this something that's just kind of organically come about? Or
I think, part of it is organic. Part of it is, I kind of made this shift lately that I really wanted to get back to just the truth of songwriting. I spent so much time trying to you got to have this instrument, you got to have this, and maybe it worked for a minute, but maybe it was, maybe it wasn't really what the song needed. And, after I thought about it for a long time, I really felt like that getting to the middle of the song and really being a truthful songwriter. I know they always say 3 chords and the truth, but really simplifying the tune, less is more, things like that, really taking that practice. And so, I'm happy where it's headed, currently, and it fits with the way that this new record that we're working on, the way that kind of is designed is really just powerful in and out songs, just get in, speak the truth, get out.
Well, you've got, as I was to what you were talking earlier, and I compared it to almost Morrissey of the Smiths kind of songwriting with newer Americana jam band like Dave Matthews or something like that.
Oh man, that's our wheelhouse. I love all those.
Because it feels like a natural marrying between that kind of post-punk, raw emotion,
sure,
with a touch of angst in there, and then the real acoustic Americana jam band kind of style, like the musicianship, and it blends so well together. It's 2 genres that when I was sitting there listening to you, I was like, wow, that sounds like 2 things I would have never thought, but it's impeccable the way you pull it off.
Excellent, thank you for that. I think that's our natural talents, the 3 of us put together. And I think that's the truest way you can get to the sound that you can't fake it. You just put it together. You're this guy, you're this guy, you're this girl, you're this guy. You put it together, and this is just what we have.
Yeah.
And I think it ends up becoming something. Now, obviously you get pretty lucky if everybody listens to some of the similar music. If you all kind of have some similar tastes in mind. But I do love a lot of that. The early to the middle punk. I do love Americana. I love the truth in it and the stories that come with it. So I think that's a good spot to be in, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's. I think the vibe, no pun intended, works for you.
Yeah.
And you've got the 1 album out, and you're working on this the follow up right now.
Yeah, we have I recorded an album over the last maybe 3 years and kind of put it down a little bit, and I would play a bunch of shows, and I went through some lineup changes and some things like that. And it just happens, it's hard to keep up the schedule. It's hard to ask everybody to keep up this schedule. And I completely respect that. But so over time I've kind of just did this record. I had some people come in, do some things, did a bunch of it on my own. But it's for the most part it's finished and it's just ready. I've been kind of waiting. I've always felt like that you needed to kind of, if you're going to release something, release it around something. Like, you just don't want to throw it out there and let it catch. You got
to make an event of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to make it something of it.
So I think, with promotion, now that we're involved, I think now's a great time. So, and I kind of felt like I wasn't in any hurry to finish the record. I kind of was, but at the same time, it's at my studio, so it's like, you can kind of...
Well, that's one of those things, it's like you can pick it up whenever you want, but then it's hard to put it down and just be like, okay, it's done.
That's kind of been biting me pretty good lately, is I don't know... I'm so in the middle of it, and it's so cloudy that I just don't know if it's, am I hearing that right? What is going on? Like, why does that sound different than yesterday?
Just
so you
lost in the sauce.
Yeah, so you go, okay, I gotta turn this off. You go watch TV. It's like you got to get that noise out of your head and like get your ears calibrated again to something normal like TV or like the wind or something, and then you can reapproach it and then. So I had like a sort of a. Just not a meltdown, but like just a tough couple of days.
One of those existential crises.
I was just like, why does it sound like this? I was like, 2 days ago it sounded, but
who
we're
knows?
getting to it. Yeah.
You could have had a stuffy nose or some sinuses, and it just sounds a little bit different. Lost that tone forever.
And then you're working on it, and you think like your computer's failing on you. So like, what? Why is it failing? But I think everything's good now, and I really enjoyed the record. I think it's a strong couple of songs. It's 10 songs. I think we recorded 12, but I'm going to put 10. And then there'll be 2 somewhere that'll come along. But
nice full album.
Yeah. And, we've released a couple on there. I've released Roll as a song. Roll and Moving On are 2 songs that you can find on Spotify. But I've since remixed those.
That's what I was just about to ask, since you've been working on them. And people come and go in the band, and it's just like... Well, let's add this part. Well, I'm not so keen on this part.
It's a slippery slope. You gotta like, what you need to do is get the final mix, lock it up, and put it in a safe somewhere and say, okay, I'm not gonna touch that song. But
coming back to that, 3 chords in the truth.
Yeah.
When you write something honestly, and it's simple, keep it real simple, you can add more to it.
Sure.
As long as you start with a foundation of stuff that's just like, you don't want any of that to go away.
Yeah.
All of this is core. Anything else is just extra.
Right.
It's like if it works on those stilts, on that backbone, then it should work with whatever else you add.
Yep. I think, listening to some of that, like you were talking about that Americana and that jam, I think there's a couple instruments I might add if it ever came down our alley, but I think, for right now, I'm really liking the idea that the vocal can carry so much.
That's
the singing.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back at old Americana and country music, that carried the melody.
Yeah.
Your guitars, bass, and everything became essentially side percussion at some points.
Yeah, and they didn't play as much. It was more picked or the bass surely didn't.
The bass was literally just percussive.
It really was. It was like quarter notes, or whole notes. Just like keeping the rhythm.
Yeah, and I think when you have that core backbone of this song works, anything else you add is just texture.
Right.
And it's like you can strip it down to its bare bones without all the accompaniment, and it's still a killer song. And then you hear it with the full orchestra, and it's just more texture to it.
And it felt good with that in mind. It felt good to say, okay, here is promotion. We're beginning our journey. Let's just take it down to the root, and then see where it goes from there. Let's really start at 0 and put this record out and just enjoy this record for a little bit. And then if whatever happens, happens, But like, it felt good to kind of like, just get back to the basic a minute, and like really kind of just say, okay, let's just see what these songs are about, really.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like you can have so many of those babies sitting in a filing cabinet or on a drawer or on a file, and man, you might love that child, but it's just not ready to go to college yet.
No, it's tough to let them go.
There may be 10 of them that are ready for college, but there's that one. It's just like, man, you've been here since day one, but you just aren't mature enough yet.
Yeah. We really need to. I need to be a little more disciplined and just say, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
You know, enough of this, enough tweaking, enough faders, enough, you know.
Well, that's
inputs.
part of the creative
Is.
drive.
I kind of started using like the studio. I would say the studio is an extra member of the band. Like, you know,
Yeah,
we treat it like that, and it's live. You perform a song this way. Studio, you get to do this. There's not tambourine live, but you're gonna put it in here because it sounds fun. You know, it's exciting. It kind of gives a rhythmic approach. But so I think now with this more dialed back direction, we're gonna add a percussion player. We're gonna add some things that can get in the middle of those spaces.
Well, and you know, live, you do solo stuff, but you also
Sure.
do full band stuff.
Sure.
And full band, you're a multi-instrumentalist on stage. Is going between guitar,
Yeah.
bongos.
Yeah.
You got an Akai pad as well that you're like
I
mixing
did,
on.
yep.
Was that something that you naturally wanted to incorporate just because of the way that the songs demanded, or?
No, songs didn't really demand it. I think my history as a drummer.
Okay.
And the fact that I love so many bands that have auxiliary percussion players or drum sections, Panic, The Dead, String Cheese, you know, bands like that who have like those moments where you just get lost in like this
rhythm.
tribal experience. You know, I love that, and I would love to do more of that. And we're currently in that position now where we can kind of experiment with that, and that's been a lot of fun. We're having some fun with that. Like, okay, this actually is kind of cool, you know.
So like, let's just linger on this breakdown
Yeah.
a bit, and
Yeah,
it
exactly.
lends so much to a live experience.
It really does. You know, it seems like on stage, 1 minute feels like forever, but to the audience, it feels like a normal length of time or something. You know, so you know we're trying to really settle into who we are as musicians on stage. It's a learning experience. You know,
You get lost in that fugue state,
Yeah.
and then you're just like, "Oh, has it been 15? Oh,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
Might...
Yeah, there has been some of that.
Awesome.
But you know, some of those bands that we love, you know.
That's the part of it.
Yeah.
It's like you can tell when somebody's lost in the song. And
Sure.
when you're lost there with them, ain't nothing better.
Oh no, not when you're on the same page
No.
and everybody's firing on the same. Yeah, it's perfect.
When you can look around at people in the audience
Yeah.
with you, and they're just like, yeah, it's all smiles, and it's just like, yeah, I'm feeling it. Yeah, this is good.
We're
this
right
is good
with you.
stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what's the best way for people to find you, check you out, book you?
Yeah, I think obviously awvibe.com. That's got the contact page, got all our show dates, every link you could imagine. Obviously, ProMotion.
Yes, hit us up.
That's a big one. Yeah, ProMotion is the big one. I would say ProMotion and then awvibe.com. But and then through the socials, we've had people reach out through social, but I would say the website awvibe.com and ProMotion for sure.
Hit us up, and
Yeah.
you've got 2 singles out on Spotify right now, and the full album as well.
And the full album is called "Bury Who We Are," and that's all on streaming services. And then 2 songs from the new album, "Roll" and "Moving On."
Very good. Go get them, put them on your playlist, get ready for some new jams coming from him very soon. Anthony Wayne Vibe, and don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. That way you don't miss another ProMotion live session. Great, man.
Thanks, brother.
Absolutely.